An urgent investigation is underway in Paris after a daring jewel heist at the Louvre earlier this morning. Authorities say 3 people made off with jewelry from the world-renowned museum's Napoleon collection. The individuals were reportedly dressed as construction workers and escaped on motorbikes. For more on this, foreign correspondent Marcus Moore joins me now from London. Marcus, what are we learning about this and how it all unfolded?
Hey, Andrew, really some startling details in all of this. This robbery happened just as the Louvre was opening this morning. Right around 9:30 in the morning, we learned from authorities that 4 people, 4 robbers in all, arrived at the museum in Paris, and they were, as you mentioned, wearing construction outfits, and they apparently used a mobile exterior freight elevator, if you will, to get up to the Apollo room, and that is where these crown jewels are kept. Andrew, this robbery went on for 7 minutes. In that 7 minutes, they managed to break open these cases, break the glass open, and steal 9 pieces of jewelry. And then they left the building, and they took off, as you just mentioned, on motorbikes. And there's been this urgent manhunt for them ever since. Authorities are looking for these 4 people, and we have learned a short time ago that officials did recover 1 piece that was apparently dropped. And they also recovered a construction vest and possibly a radio that was used during this heist. But what we've heard from the Interior Minister, and based on all of the details that we've learned about this, Andrew, this was really a sophisticated and, as you mentioned, a brazen robbery happening as the museum was opening. So there were people there. In fact, we heard from an American who was in line to get into the museum. She described the chaos that ensued afterwards, the police officers running to that scene to try to respond to the robbery and catch up with these suspects. So this happened at really an incredible time, and we're waiting to learn new details about exactly what was taken, but certainly invaluable items that were stolen in this brazen robbery, Andrew.
Sounds like something out of a movie, Marcus. And I want to bring in art theft and museum expert Anthony Amore. Anthony, what typically happens to these kinds of valuable objects once they are stolen, and are they usually recovered intact, or is there a risk they could be broken or damaged and essentially sold for parts?
That's the key question. I mean, it's in every instance, something different seems to happen. So the biggest fear, of course, is something you just articulated, that take a complex piece of jewelry with many jewels in it. The fear is that it gets broken up and sold, because a consumer will have a very, very difficult time telling that, hey, this emerald came from, say, a crown. The piece that Marcus mentioned was dropped and left behind had 1,500 diamonds in it and dozens of emeralds. So you can imagine how valuable it would be if it's taken apart and sold piece by piece.
I think the one thing that's striking or remarkable, Anthony, is that this happened in broad daylight. What's your take on this happening in a highly trafficked gallery at one of the most popular museums in the world?
Well, that's true. It's incredibly brazen. But when you look at the scene outside, where the ladder is on a lift on a truck leading up to the museum, I think most people can imagine, if you were approaching the Louvre and you saw that, you would probably think it's business as usual. You wouldn't assume it's some major theft. As far as that gallery, there is some confusing information coming out, which is typical in the early stages of an investigation. But whether that particular gallery was open at this time, it's possible that people had made their way up to it yet, or that section of the building wasn't open yet. So that remains to be seen. But I will say that daytime thefts are not all that unusual. These sort of smash and grab type crimes are unfortunately rather typical.
Marcus Moore and Anthony Amore, thank you for your time.